Peace and love, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Sex Talk with Ayana the Model. This time we'll be speaking with Pierre and we'll be talking all about his life and all that jazz. Okay, should be accepting him now. What's up, Ramo? Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm alright. How are you?
I'm good. Getting yourself together with the lighting and the hair.
Yeah, so do we get straight into it, or do we wait?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of get right into it. I think that people kind of show up as they do. Turn you up so I can hear you. Welcome. Welcome to Sex Talk. Thank you for joining. Thank you for coming onto the platform and agreeing to be on here. It's a pleasure to have you. I do love your content, and I wanted to not only have you on here, but also highlight things that you're doing in your own life and your own professional life. So thanks for being here.
For sure, I appreciate that. Thanks for having me.
Indeed. So for anyone who doesn't know, just say your name, I guess briefly what you do, and just introduce yourself. You're frozen. I don't know if it's going to. Okay, cool. I think you're coming back in now.
Did I get kicked out?
I think you did. I can see you now, but that was weird. But you're back. I can see you.
Okay, you just randomly cut off.
Okay, cool. So I was saying that for those who don't know you, just say your name, briefly introduce who you are, and I guess say a tad bit, a little about what you do.
Yeah, sure, no problem. My name is Pierre Fleury. Who I am. I am an educator for a domestic violence center. A lot of the work that I do is educating people on the dynamics of domestic and dating violence. Been doing that for about 5 years now. It's going to be 5 years in literally about a week or so.
Nice.
I've been about this for about 5 years now. Yeah, a little bit about me. I'm from South Florida. Born and raised South Florida. I'm Haitian. Yeah, that's kind of me.
Cool. That's dope. I didn't realize you were doing the work for that long. I think that maybe probably like in the last year and a half you've been, I guess, transferring most of your work onto your social media platform. And so that's when I became privy to what you do.
Yeah,
But that's super cool that you've been doing it that long. That's awesome. That's probably like the same amount of time that I've really been like modeling professionally. So that's cool. Yeah, so we can jump right into the first question. And I always ask everyone, what is your relationship to sex?
my relationship to sex. It's an interesting question. Uh,
Whatever comes to mind, because it's very broad and open and
yeah, so I'm wondering. I mean, I think sex is it's fun. I say that for sure. It's good. I feel like it's oftentimes a good way to connect with people. I think it's one of those things where it can get out of hand if we're not mindful of it. Um, but yeah, I think overall it's a pretty good way to connect with people. It's a fun way to connect with people. It's a good way to know yourself and explore yourself. Um, my relationship to it, like right now, currently, I'm kind of taking a break from it. I can definitely. It's not like a set time or so that I'm not doing it, but just taking a break from it right now, really. But yeah.
okay. What is the impetus for your break? Like what's the catalyst for you to not be doing it right now?
Yeah, I feel like I'm in therapy.
This is
Um,
therapy.
um, I think the catalyst for the break was well, one of the reasons I got into therapy about a year and a half ago was because I had poor impulse control, not just with sex, but like this is in general. Like I was just like doing things like as like coping mechanisms. Um, yeah, and then I've gotten better with it over the years, over the past year and a half or so. But sometimes I still try like I guess trying to test myself to make sure that I'm actually engaging sex because I want to, not because I feel like I have to. I think
Mm-hmm.
with like men and how we're socialized to be, or socialized to see sex as like this thing you have to do all the time. You always have to want it, you always have to engage in it, and that's how you really connect with people is only through sex. So I'm making sure that I'm not abusing that form of intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting. When did you realize that it was a part of an impulse control and not just a choice?
Um, I think it's more so one of those things where like after you're done with it, you feel me? Like you don't really feel anything.
Mm.
Right? Yeah, it's like the moment before, the moment during is like fun, but afterwards, like I don't feel fulfilled.
Mm.
I think one of the things like you feel like you again like how we socialize as men, it's like, oh, I feel something right now. Maybe I need sex, and you have sex, and then like you still feel unfulfilled, and it's just like, damn, what?
Was
Yeah,
that?
yeah. But also, I mean, for me, I knew it's impulse control because like I don't have much like much vices besides like spending habits. Like sometimes it will be sex, and then or it will be like working out to the point where like I'm in a lot of pain. Yeah, no, like I'd be sore as hell, and I'm like, shit, you can go work out still. Um, yeah, so I think it's got me the connection. Like, damn, like am I already doing it? Again, even after the gym, I'll be done with the gym. I still wouldn't feel fulfilled. Why to go buy something? I'll book a trip, and I still wouldn't feel fulfilled. And it's just like, damn, maybe this is not what I need.
Mm.
You
What is
Yeah.
fulfilling to
Huh?
you? What is fulfilling to you?
I think right now it's life fulfillment is like just how do I put this into words? Being able to connect with people, um, like more than I used to before. Like actually getting to know people for themselves, and also just being able to like know that the person I am to people is it's a good person. Like I've always been that kind of person where like me knowing somebody's like I'm helping somebody out, or I'm doing something that is making a difference in the world is gonna help for me. But yeah.
Mm. What is the type of sex you would want to have when you start having it again?
I didn't get that for you. I don't know.
Mm.
I mean, like sex that I have been having, it's not like bad sex, anything like that. It's again it's one of those things where like I always want to make sure I'm not doing it just to do it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like make sure I actually want to do it, and I just come back, I'm just doing. I guess more. I guess I would say just think about it now would be like I guess more intentional sex.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is there any process
Hold
that
on, hold on,
it
hold on. Not my Bessie hopping on here. Bessie, don't look at this.
she knows more about you than she did before? Um, I forgot my question. Okay. How connected to sensuality are you? Yeah, do you
Sensuality.
think that you're a very sensual person? Do you think you're very connected to sensuality? Do you think that it plays a big role in the way that you navigate engaging with people in general?
Like for sure. I'm very intimate. Um, in general. Like even if it's not just sexual, like I just like being around people. Um, I mean, I never really think of it until like sensuality. I just think of it in terms of like intimacy. You know,
In what ways?
like if I'm just chilling with somebody, like we're chilling in the same space, right? People think I'm a homebody. It's just to go. I don't like being out with people doing things I don't want to do. If I'm out with somebody, like I want to be doing something I enjoy, like walking around somewhere. But like, for example, a lot of my friends go to parties. I don't really care for parties, but like if we're gonna do something, let's say we have nothing else to do, you want to come over and do nothing here, we can do nothing over here, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we're just going out to eat to get some of the food, that's fun for me. Like I just like being
You like
connected with.
quality time
Yeah,
with the person that you care
yeah. I think some of my love language is quality time is my love language. Like even if it's like the term's called parallel play, where we're just doing our own separate thing together.
for. Hmm.
Yeah,
Never heard of that term. That's interesting.
yeah, so, yeah, parallel play.
I think I can be, I'm a bit similar to that.
Yeah.
Interesting. So I guess what was the biggest shift for you to realize that there was a difference between how you had sex then and how you have sex now, or the sex you've had then versus the sex you want to have now?
Huh. I mean, when I first started having sex, I was like, I'm considered to be a late bloomer. I guess for South Florida standards.
Right, because so was I.
Yeah, yeah. 'Cause I started like 19. So I should tell, well, finished like
Right.
penetrative sex. Before that, I was doing oral, but like I was like 19, close to 20. I started doing penetrative sex. Um, yeah, and I guess one of those things where like it's something to do, right? It was very, very. Oh, my cousin on here, not family hopping on here. Close your eyes. Um, um, yeah, and then yeah, just again, just kind of shallow sex. But then like around like my say like early to mid 20s, like 23, 24, when I started like actually breaking down the sex that I was having, it's like I don't really like these people. Um, yeah, uh, and that's when I started like shifting to like let me actually ask this people actually like again like again how we're socialized to be growing up like again as a man like oh you just have sex but then I realized I don't want this kind of sex. But so I started having sex with people like people that actually like like as a person, not like intimately like to date, but like somebody okay cool like I respect you as a person, um, kind of thing, and that's why I started like that. But then again, it was to this thing where I felt like I had to do it, like there's no way to connect with people unless it was through sex. So that's why I kind of started getting into therapy like when I was like 26, 26, yeah, 26, 27, yeah. Um, and yeah, I'm like, let me actually make sure I'm being intentional about that. But I think sex I want to have again, like now, just being more intentional about it. I mean, I don't know if you mean like how detailed you want me to get with the kind of
I
sex.
mean,
Like,
I tell everybody it's their own comfort level. Like I had one of my close friends on here that was giving me play by play of this interaction he had with this person he was dating, but it's completely and totally up to y'all. I'm here for it. There is no such thing as TMI in my book personally because I'm that person that can really absorb everything and be like, that's cool, interesting.
yeah.
But it's really up to you.
I mean, no, I have like my things, but as far as like generally speaking, I just want to make like I want to have more intentional sex, so that makes sense. Um, maybe we just got started. Maybe later on down the line, to that point.
Maybe in
But
20 minutes I'll feel frisky and let you know.
yeah, but again, like it's one of those things. That I don't want to say something outlandish and wild, and that's not what the vibe is. But I mean, for now, like that's my general answer. Like just yeah, like more intentional.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What ways you talk a lot about connecting with people and how like there is definitely a socialization amongst men to connect with people only through sex, which I definitely agree with.
Yeah.
It's interesting too to feel like you have that pressure of like because you are a certain age or because you are of a certain stature, you have to have sex and continuously have sex, and it's weird if you don't have sex. I feel like uh, that's a very big socialization in America in particular. I know it happens all around the world, but particularly in America, especially in Miami, Florida, it's like it's one of those three things. It's like if you are first of all, if you are a certain age and you know what sex is, you should be having it, which is very weird. So
Yeah.
by the time you are 21, you should automatically be having sex. By the time you should drink, you should always be drinking. By the time you should smoke, you should always be smoking. There are just certain things that people expect you to do.
Yeah.
And I think that it's interesting that banned away. I don't know how much of those three things that you ban away from, but me in particular, like I pretty much don't do either, like neither three of those things on a daily basis. Pretty much never smoke, pretty much never drink, but I often
I don't,
rarely.
I don't drink or smoke.
Oh, there you go. So same
Yeah.
goal, I think it's interesting to navigate the world without doing those things, especially interacting with people that are our age, especially interacting with people who do those same things because um, they definitely have a different idea of who you are and how you show up if you don't do those things. So what
Yeah.
are a couple of ways? Well, I guess you mentioned that you like to share quality time. But I guess if you are interested in someone, and if you're not just spending an intimate space with them, I guess what other things you can do that are along the realms of this is something that you enjoy doing with someone who you would have sex with, even if you're not having sex with them.
That's some things I would do with that person.
Yeah. So we're not naming anything explicitly
Yeah.
sexual.
Yeah.
And of course, we already named quality time and spending time with someone that you enjoy. But what are some other things, that connect to outer course or connect to, maybe your ideas, your intimate ideas of foreplay that kind of have nothing to do with sex, but almost everything to do with sex, because sex for me is much more than a connection of physical bodies. It's like a very energetic experience, and a lot of things go into that for me in particular. So maybe if it also does that for you, being so intentional about it, what are some
Yeah.
other things that you like to do
Yeah.
besides the actual sexual act, I guess?
I guess like the way I'm thinking that question is like, what is your like your non-intimate, one non-sexual forms of like foreplay? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Foreplay, intimacy, romanticism.
Yeah, well, I mean, like again, like I'm down for anything. Like for me, if we're literally going out to get food together, that's like my thing. I mean, I love good conversation. I feel like I'm a better listener than I am a talker.
Hmm.
Um, so like anything where we're just literally just being our authentic selves. Like for me, I like to eat, and if you like to eat too, let's go eat. Um, if we're like, something I've been doing with some friends, like traveling together, like literally like
Mm-hmm.
we travel together. I think that's very nice and fun to do as well. Yeah, no, thanks. Yeah, that's as far as for me. Um,
I think
I,
that it's cool. I mean, I remember asking one of the other guests on Sex Talk, like, what type of intimate things that you do, and he mentioned like someone reading a book to him, for example, something that someone wouldn't assume would be
I turn on.
something that would arouse, right? Something that would be turned on, something that would arouse them, but it created some of the biggest pieces of intimacy for him and his partner in particular. He also said being there for a childbirth. I think he does have a child. Being there for the birthing of his child was also like a super intimate thing for him.
Yeah,
So I guess something that is a part of what people would generally think about.
yeah. I'm trying to like see the thing with me because I've been saying is like I'm a very simple person. Like I think I like it when people are comfortable with me. Like if once I get to people to when I feel like somebody's at a point with me where they feel comfortable with just saying things, just talking about certain things, that's nice. It's nice to me. Like the back to parallel play. I got a friend of mine. Whenever sometimes we like, let's say we're both working from home, she'll come here and work from home, and I'll work from home here too, because like, we're just doing our own separate thing. That's always been a thing. And like in the past, after we've done working from home, like let's say I clock out, she clocks out. That's when like just being in the space, being each other, whatever it is. That was like our foreplay because like, oh damn, we've been working together this past like few hours, whatever it is. Then we kind of do this. Then we get into it. But I think yeah, I think for me, just knowing somebody's comfortable with me is like a really big turn on.
Mm-hmm.
When people start sharing things about themselves that like I don't necessarily talk about. Um, yeah, no, I think that's like a big one.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's interesting. I think that yeah, I love that too. I don't think I've really conceptualized how much I do love people's comfort with me.
yeah,
That's a really big thing for me. I think I naturally make people comfortable. I think that like I'm wholly accepting, which is very easy to see. But I think that as people talk to me, they start to realize like, damn, you really just don't give a fuck, girl. And I'm like, yeah, no, not really.
yeah, yeah. I think
And then like,
I think what it is for me is the fact that like I know how heavily guarded a lot of people are, generally speaking. So once somebody like really like lets that guard down, it really lets me know that like you feel safe here, and I'm happy you feel safe here. Yeah, I talk a lot about vulnerability, and I think the best way to connect with people is vulnerability. You can't connect with people if you're being guarded up. They're only getting either part of you or surface level if it's not really genuinely who you are. Um, but no, yeah, yeah, no, like I think like somebody just being comfortable with me is kind of my thing. Um, I think also like when people are doing things that like if people are doing things that they like with me, like bringing me into their space, right? Like you're literally like you're sending me your poems, right? You're sending me like things you enjoy doing, whatever it is. Like that thing that's very big for me. Yeah.
mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I love that too. Do you have any kinks or fetishes?
there we go. There you go.
If so, what are they?
I mean, since you asked, I mean, no,
Oh shit! I was like, okay.
no. Kinks and fetishes. I have a public kink.
Oh, oh,
Um,
like, are you
exhibitionist voyeur.
exhibitionist and a voyeur?
Yeah,
Period.
voyeurism, is touching it, but like for me, it's the thrill of getting caught. For me,
Okay.
I don't really talk about this sexual on Instagram. Particularly, I got found on Instagram, but like if I'm just on Twitter, I don't really care because on Twitter because I've been wild on Twitter. But
God.
but no, like I have like a public thing. Like thrill of getting caught, being watched. What else? As dominant as I am, I like being told what to do. I learned that last year. And I
Interesting.
was very dominant, but like tell me what, like I know it's weird. People are like, oh, you're dominant. You like, no, like
It's not
I
weird.
on Twitter, hey, nah, yeah, no, like I like being told what to do. Like I like somebody like guiding me through it. I think because everybody's
Mhm.
different, and I like to since I'm a good listener, like talk to me. I think it's more like a
Do you
talk,
like to be guided or do you like to be commanded?
a little bit of both. Yeah, yeah, a little bit of both. Yeah. Like okay, I think the thing with the command thing is I like powerful women,
Mhm.
like women in power. Just that's just my
Those are
thing.
for you.
Like if it's like a thing of like, hey, like come here, do say less. Like, you feel me? Like I'm gonna do my thing. But yeah, no, I think it's definitely like again, I'm a very dominant person overall. Like, I'll say it like, tell me what you want me to do. You feel me? Um, but yeah,
Yeah, I think that it's not weird. I personally believe that the more you are socially, the less you are sexually, or the more you are socially, the easier it is in order for you to flip the scripts sexually.
yeah,
So if you are very powerful socially, like I feel like it's very easy for me to imagine you very powerless sexually. Or the most comfortable, most safe, and most secure you will ever feel sexually is if you are powerless. I know that some people don't have that space to explore that, but I
yeah,
think that like for those people who are in those positions, it's very easy for them to kind of relinquish that in the bedroom because I feel like that is the one place where they can really relinquish it, if they are bosses or if they have to manage people. Like you can't just be like, well, I'm not doing this shit today, but you can always do it in the bedroom.
yeah. I think it's one of those things where like you kind of get tired of the same thing over and over again. It's like this is where I can like explore other things.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, yeah.
Have you ever taken the BDSM quiz?
I never remember that.
Or
Yeah,
have you, or have you not?
yeah. No, I've taken it like one time like years ago because it's always something that goes viral every now and again. So people just do. Um,
Mhm.
but for the most part, I think it's usually pretty like on the dominant side
Hmm.
for the most part. Yeah.
I'm gonna put it in the chat for people. It's just bdsmtest.org from what I remember. Um, so for anyone who doesn't know their own kinks or fetishes, they can go on bdsmtest.org. I believe that's what it is. I hope I'm not doing it wrong. It'll give you a percentage breakdown from 0 to 100 on all the different things that you are sexually and I guess kink wise or fetish wise. And it's just a really good play by play little guide. If you don't know what your kinks are, like you answering questions truthfully, and you're not thinking too much on the answers to the questions, you're just answering as quickly and as truthfully as you can, it'll give you the results that can really show you more about yourself. And I feel like it's very helpful for people to take. So I usually reference that when I talk to people, just because if they have taken it, I'm always interested to be like, what was your 100%? What was your 95? Because I think that sometimes I'm actually surprised by people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's always fun to know those things every now and again.
Indeed. What is your zodiac sign? And have you ever had any sexual myths that were assumed about you based on that?
I was talking to. I had a long conversation earlier with a friend of mine that I just recently befriended a couple weeks ago. We were talking about zodiacs, and I'm not well versed in the topic, but she is. If I remember correctly, I've always remembered that I'm a Cancer because it's my birthday.
Hmm.
No one ever guesses that. And she was telling me that my rising descendant. I know it's Cancer, Scorpio, and I think Capricorn, supposedly.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um. So, uh, there's that, and I guess my whole chart has a lot of Scorpio in it.
Interesting.
So I guess I have a lot of sexual energy. I don't know much as far as like the Cancer part of sex, but I know the Scorpio part. I guess I give off a lot of sexual energy supposedly. Um, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't know too much about that. Um, yeah.
That's fine. What do you keep looking at, by the way?
Oh no, there was a game going
Oh,
on.
oh, okay. I'm like,
It
either
just
somebody coming or
no, it just finished.
cool. I
You know,
think that like yes, Scorpios are known to be sex and all that kind of stuff. Well, Scorpios rule sex. So I don't know a whole lot about, zodiac signs, but I know like more than the average person. So I think that I have like a really good way to, I guess, conceptualize zodiac signs. But I also know the signs that people in my life are a lot. And like my mother's a Scorpio, like I dated a Scorpio. I had a lot of friends who are Scorpios, so I just end up knowing a lot about Scorpios. Scorpios rule, sex. They rule the root chakra. They rule like Hades in the underworld. So there's like a darkness that Scorpios kind of rule, and I think that that is kind of what gives it, um, I guess, what gives them that preconceived notion that like they're going to rock your world in sex, because a lot of them kind of have a everything goes kind of approach to sex because they're so comfortable with the depths and the darkness of some of the things that are taboo and closed off to people. Death, a lot of things that like people feel a way about. Scorpios end up either feeling very comfortable with or feeling no way about. Generally, not to say that every single person's like this.
yeah.
So I would say that like that is kind of the energy that is kind of put, at the forefront of what people think about when they think about Scorpios. Um, have you ever heard anything sexual about cancers, or have you ever told someone your sign and they're just like, "Oh, I know this about cancers"?
No,
No.
nothing sexual. All I care about Cancer is that they're emotional.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it. Um, yeah. I again, I don't know too much about it. I don't really. People tell me about it all the time, but it's one of those things where I hear one ear out the other
Yeah,
because I'm almost like,
I think that like if you haven't decided that it's something that you choose to believe in or want to know more about, it's going to be one of those things that's just like, yeah, I heard it
no, like
before, but
I listen to people when they talk about it. It's just one of those things where like it's not gonna stick with me because again, like no one ever guesses Cancer on the first try for me. And it's like after like 3 or 4 tries, they finally get one thing, and it's like, oh, I knew it. Like we didn't know it. It's okay. Um, but yeah, no, I don't know too much about Cancer signs, Cancers, or any sign at all. Only thing I know is the stereotypes. I know that Gemini's are supposed to be two-faced, Cancers are emotional, Leos are self-centered, Scorpios are sexual, Virgos are like are very intuitive, I guess. Pisces, I don't know anything about Pisces. Aries are fiery. Sagittarius are self-centered, kind of like Leos, I think. Um, what else do I know? I think that's what I remember. I just literally just know the stereotypes about those signs.
right. I was about to say that is very interesting. Some of those stereotypes I actually never ever heard of.
I mean, again, that's what I hear from people. Like, I
Right.
just you like you're always angry. Like it's somebody says sky racism. That's But yeah, no, I don't know too much about that.
I feel like the least you know about zodiac signs, the more shit you can talk about them. Because the more you understand signs and how signs work and what the charts are and people and all that kind of stuff, the more you're just like, okay, child, I can't just hear your sun sign and come up with a whole idea about who you are. Like that's almost impossible, to a point. Um, but yeah, feels that.
Yeah,
What is the biggest this I guess could be a different answer. What's the biggest misconception you had to deal with sexually?
misconception. I have to deal personally.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't think I ever had one per se. Like the who I am, like uh, there's not. any misconceptions that's around my stereotype. Like, as like a tall black man that's Haitian, there's not a lot of it's sex wise. Everything about me is usually positive things. Again, like not me personally, but like everything about my
Yeah.
like
How
my
you show up in the world and like how you present yourself.
yeah.
But are they misconceptions, or do you feel like they're spot on even though they're making assumptions?
From what I've known, I've never wanted. Like
You're like, it's not no misconceptions because
yeah,
they
I
think
mean
the right.
like there's been things, of course, I can always improve on. You know, just people like I've been intimate with, things like we actually have like times after sex we can actually communicate how it was, what could have been different. There is that, but like if I were to, you know, compile all my experiences, I'd say I've been doing pretty good. Uh, I don't know. I mean, okay, I guess like being the fact that I am from South Florida and I am Haitian, like again, I was doing oral sex before I think late high school, early college. So the idea was like, oh, Haitian or Caribbean men don't eat like don't eat.
Yes.
Yeah, been doing that. Um, there's that. But as far as like anything like misconceptions about sex that like I have to deal with a person that never really had it. Uh, I know people are once people get comfortable with you, they're willing to try a lot of things. So I know that. Like I know a lot of people say they don't like to do certain things, and that's very true a lot. But sometimes people get comfortable with you, they're willing to like throw some things out and just try out with you. It's not saying that you have to get them there or trying to get like not pressure them or persuade them, but like when people actually feel comfortable with you, they'll try different things. But yeah, I know I can't think of anything. It's like yeah, besides that one about like Haitian or Caribbean men don't do that. Like y'all don't do that. Me,
Me,
I was a
I
munch
do
before munch
that.
was cool. I was munching before munching was cool. All right, before Ice Spice, I was the real munch. Yeah, no, yeah, and like I think what made it particularly different for me is that I'm not gonna put so much. I want to because people I dated they still follow me. Um, uh, yeah, no, like I was doing something that a lot of men weren't doing at the time. Like even when like what is it like if she's gonna do you do her like nah. If I'm gonna eat it, I'm gonna eat it. Like that's just me. I'm here to again. I'm a munch. I'm here to do what I got to do, and then But yeah, no. Yeah, I was gonna say I was by definition of what a munch is. That was me.
Okay. I love to hear it. Nice. Do you think that you are more of a giver than a receiver?
Um, I'd say so. Yep. Yeah, I'd say so. Like in recent years, I mean, like of course I like to receive for sure, but I'd say as far as giving goes, I prefer to give more than like I'm receiving. But I think also for me, because the person, like from what I know and the work that I do, like I'm very well aware of like power dynamics. So whenever I can like relinquish that power and be the one to not be in control all the time, I'm always like willing to like to give that up.
Mm.
Like I don't like people doing things for me and I'm gonna give anything back in return. Like if somebody give me something, I'm trying to give something back to them. So whenever I can just give and just give the gift that keeps on giving, I'm gonna be that. So yeah, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love to hear it. What is your biggest sexual fear?
Fear? Hmm. That's a hard hitting questions. What's a fear that? So it's some things I want to say, but like it's not some things I usually say out loud. Uh
Whatever you're comfortable with.
uh, I I guess like hurting somebody.
Hmm.
Yeah, cause like sometimes I don't know my own strength. Like especially when you're in the moment. Yeah, these are some good ass questions. When you're in the moment, you kind of like, yeah, my business are hurting somebody. I think it's one of the reasons why I like to be told what to do too. I want to make sure whatever you're getting, like what it is what you're asking for. Like if I'm choking you, like let me know that this is good enough for you. Even again, like I think I'm very big on consent too, and I think there's I know people think a lot of people think consent is like, oh, it ruins the mood, it ruins the vibe. Like no, like there are a lot of ways you can be very sexual, like using consent, right? I'm not trying to say consent is sexy or whatever it is. I'm saying like there are a lot of ways you can be consensual and be sexy about it. Like if I'm if I have my hands near your neck, whatever it is, like tell me you want that around your neck, and then tell me that's how you want it, whatever it is. Or like if I'm gripping you like just how you want it, tell me like that's how you want it. I guess like the constant like reassurance that this is good. Yes, I never want to get point I'm hurting somebody. It's like my biggest fear, like putting somebody in any pain at all. So yeah, that's like my biggest fear sexually. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I think that like there's a level of maturity that goes into consistent check-ins, and
Yeah.
that's something that just doesn't happen if you're not mature. So the people who are just like, oh, it ruins the mood, you're just not mature. Just say that. Just say I'm immature and I don't even have the mind or bandwidth to communicate to someone to make sure that I'm checking in, to make sure that they enjoy everything that's happening. Because if you're not, what's the point of that? But
Yeah.
those are people who don't give a fuck about the point. Those are people who don't care about your well-being. They're not respecting your boundaries. They don't really care about what you say, what you want, what you like, what feels good. Like, and it's very obvious.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I think I'm always talking about consent and what it looks like and whatever it is. And I feel like if I can communicate with you during sex, like intimately or emotionally, then you probably shouldn't have to be having sex then. So yeah.
I tell people that all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. They might have like a hang up on, calling or texting or letting this person know that you feel this way or that way. And I'm like, if you're feeling all these ways about this, you should not even be engaged with this person.
Yeah.
Like, it should be as easy as I'm telling my homegirl what happened at work yesterday. If it's not that easy, you shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah. It's coming from a place of discomfort or even like a place of like immaturity. It's like something you're not really ready to do, I should say.
Mm.
So.
That's interesting. Has your sexual fear sabotaged your past sexual relationships or something that you've done sexually with someone?
Mm-hmm. Okay, I guess back to going like not knowing my own strength, like just kind of going too hard. Yeah, I guess sometimes like it's kind of like okay, you need to calm down, kind of thing. All right. One thing it's never gone like more than that though. Thinking of a story, but I'm not gonna share that story. That's just way too gruesome to share on here. Um, yeah, no, I think just kind of going too hard, and I need to calm down, slow down, whatever. It's not like it's not anything like what was this that one time? That's what that was necessarily a me thing. It was a them thing that had going on during that time. And it was one of those things like bad time kind of things. Uh, yeah, but no, I think just like just sometimes like again I know my own strength and it's like telling me I gotta calm down. But that's the only thing I can think of. It's like it was like really serious. Yeah, but again, like I said, like as far as communication goes, like just well, I'm also a talker. I'll be talking, so you're gonna know exactly.
I'll be talking.
Yeah, no, you're gonna know exactly what's going on. I think that's why like the talking back too. Like tell me what's going on so I can know what's going on.
Okay. Do you think that you are incompatible with someone who's more primal, who makes more sounds than they do words? Or do you just need some type of verbal cues and it doesn't have to be words? Or you really like the words?
I mean, I think it's one of those things where if we're being consistent about it, it's our first time. I don't expect you to like know so much about what I do like, besides the little things I talked about before. But like at some point in time, it would be nice to hear something. Like I've met people like again I'm telling them you talk to me like I'm verbal. I'm gonna tell you talk to me what I'm what we're doing. And, like I'm gonna tell you exactly what I want. And like afterwards, like like I know you want me to talk to you, but I'm trying to like
I'm trying to focus.
Yeah, I was like, and I guess some people like for them like they for them to finish like they're focusing, and like they're not as vocal as I am. So like for me, even when I'm like alone and I'm like masturbating, whatever, like I still talk.
Hmm.
Yeah, like I'm gonna talk myself through it. So, and for some people, they're like silence, whatever it is. And like again, being compatible. I mean, like again, just after a while, I was like, okay, cool, that's your thing. Like I know once you start making that kind of face or that kind of like gesture, this is you about to get to your point. I still have to learn. Okay, this is me taking your nonverbal cue that this is your time, kind of thing. But again, it's like again, I love to hear shit. So yeah,
Very interesting.
yeah,
Have you ever done mutual masturbation with anyone?
yeah.
How do you like it?
It's fun. It is fun, but also like I love kissing, right?
Hmm.
I love kissing, and when I'm about to finish, damn, I got family on here. Yeah, I'm wilding. Oh, wilding. Well, yeah, like even though it's just like we're not necessarily like touching each other. I think my favorite thing is like when I'm about to finish and like we know about to finish, whatever. Like, come here. You know what I mean? Like, I hope my sister's not on here. I ain't seen it.
Take it like this. If they have tuned in this long, they want to know at this point. They want to know it.
I feel like once you see the sex talk with Pierre at the top, they should have hopped off. That's
They're like, oh, okay.
uh,
You trying to hold back? They're trying to hear more.
yeah. No, yeah, no, I think it's fun. I think it's one of those things where like it really shows how much you want somebody because like I'm, we're both getting off to each other, like, and we're in the same space. Yeah, that shows a lot. Yeah.
Yes. Mutual masturbation, I've only done once with one partner. This partner really expanded my mind to understand different things about sexuality, kink, fetish. He was a very kinky person. I used to walk him in public on a leash.
Oh,
I now decided that that's my thing. Like, I love
yeah,
that.
no. Like what you,
He also is not a submissive person. And I think that that's one thing that I loved about it too. Like, he was a very masculine person. He was not submissive. He was a masochist. So he enjoyed pain being inflicted on him, and he enjoyed strong women as well. He loved my positioning, but he was just very comfortable being a bottom for me, but he was not necessarily my sub. And I think I understood each of those dynamics by dealing with him. And he also refused to have sex with me because he had just gotten out of a very toxic long-term relationship with someone, and he refused to intermingle that energy with my body and his, which I also really respected. I think that over time I started to understand that he really was for me in every way, and he was so connected energetically that he knew what it meant to engage with our bodies, and he just did not do that because he was not in a space to do that. So we did a bunch of other shit, and one of the things that we did was mutual masturbation. And I realized that because I am more energetic and more sensual when it comes to my sexuality, it just is my thing. Like, and I need to do it more with more partners. I definitely need to explore it more. I definitely need to have like a more intense sessions of this thing that I love to do, because I think it just goes along the lines of everything that I love about the engagement of sex, even if it's not necessarily penetrative. That closeness, that intimacy, that connection, that vulnerability, that openness, that comfort, that safety, like everything that makes someone feel really good to release is the space that I love to be in, even if I'm not having penetrative sex. So I really love that. And I love that you've done that before. So shout out to that.
yeah, I think it's one of those things where like the kind of one thing about when you're just talking is like just the foreplay in general, like foreplay before you even get to a sexual foreplay, like there should be, I've not should be, but I feel like I like it when there is like those moments beforehand where we're just doing things with each other that we just enjoy, and like knowing at the end of this, like like where something's gonna go down. Like so, like in it for like, let's say we're at dinner or whatever it is, and you tell me about your day and how you happy you are about something that you enjoy doing, and like I'm just we're just listening to each other talk, and it's like, damn, like I really focus you. I'm about to break it back. Leave. Yeah. Yeah. I think
I
cool.
love that. I think that the more I listen to people in the sex world and people in sex work in particular, the more I start to understand the different words that they use for different things like this. And so with intercourse, there's a lot of people who talk a lot about outer course. And I feel like outer course is just what you're saying. Like it can have nothing to do with sex, but can literally be the first step to lead to great sex with you and your partner at the end of the day. Like, yeah, we're just eating fucking ice cream and cookies, but we about to get it popping. And I'm about to eating your ice cream and cookies in a minute. Like it could be completely detached, but still so connected.
Yeah,
And I feel like that's the space that I thrive in.
yeah, for sure. I think that's what I said earlier, like comfortability. Like I don't like people being like shy around me. Not shy around me. I'm saying like you have to not, get over your shyness. But like I like when people are like their full authentic selves around me. I think again like that's kind of my thing. I was talking to somebody about it like a few weeks ago, and like they were saying like, oh yeah, no, like I don't think I ever told anybody about this ever. And I'm like, damn, it's really cool. And then it's just like, yeah, like I feel like I want to, I fuck shit out of you now. I'm like, oh, I mean, we could get there at some point, but yeah, no, yeah, it's one of those things. It's definitely big foreplay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, to your point, you can't connect without being vulnerable. And I feel like even though people don't, necessarily use the word, or they don't, maybe people don't want to just throw the word around, it's all in the realm of love, and that's how I see it. Like you can't love without being open. You can't love without being vulnerable. You can't love without being safe and comfortable and caring and all those things. And even though we're not out here being like, I'm in love with you to every person that we connect to, you have to have the foundation of love with that person you're engaging in to have the type of sex that we're talking about.
yeah,
I feel like that detachment, or I guess the further you are away from that space is the more that you don't enjoy it, if you are really tapped into to really connect with people on that level.
yeah, for sure. I agree.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that you practice sensuality in your work at all, and if so, how do you?
And my work that I do for a living,
Mm-hmm.
sensuality.
Yeah, or I guess any work that you do creatively, if you do a ton of work creatively still, or if that's like a big part of your life and the way that you navigate the world as well.
My line of work is not really sensual at all. It's very traumatic. um, yeah, I can't really. I mean, yeah, yeah. Most of the work that I do is around preventing violence, so it's not much. It's not nothing sexy
Mm-hmm.
about it. Okay, so back to like how we're socialized, right? As a person, well, as a man, like I do the bare fucking minimum, right? I literally do the bare fucking minimum. Oh shit, Andrea, hey Andrea, get out of here. You can't be here. My little cousin, hey, hop out of here. Um, I do the bare minimum as a man, right? But because the bar is so low for men, like to be good men,
Mm-hmm.
just off the work that I do, literally at my actual job, people find that attractive, right? So, we hit the work that I do. It's like, oh my god, that's so sexy. It's like, no, that's
It's just work.
yeah, that's literally just work, and I hate that. Like, even though like again the content that I post on like Twitter and Instagram and TikTok, whatever it is, like I get comments and DMs from people saying, "Oh my god, this is so sexy what you're doing." I'm like, "Oh, I'm not doing this to be sexy. Like, this is
I'm
bad."
educating the masses. That's
Yeah, yeah, and I hate that so much. And it gets to the point where people like romanticize me, and I hate being romanticized.
mm.
Um, yeah, and it's just like like this is something that needs to be talked about. It's not like a time to be sexual, and I hate when I hate when I feel like I've made a really good video, I posted something that I'm very good, and the first comment is just like, oh my god, no, like I know this is good information, but you're fine as fuck. It's like, yo, this is not the place for this. Um, but yeah, no, it's as far as like me personally, I don't find anything sexual or sensual about it. Yeah, it's really just a serious topic.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because one of the other guests that I've had is a really good friend of mine, and she works with homeless youth with addiction and I asked her the same question, and she was like, "Yeah, no, absolutely
Nah.
not. There's no room. Yeah,
Yeah.
no room for sensuality,
It's
cute. We're not flirting. It's a no."
yeah.
I was like, fair,
Yeah.
very fair.
When I first started doing org, I mean, this still happens every now and again. I started doing work when I was like 23, 24, 24, 24, 24 I started doing this work. So yeah, I turned 29 here. Yeah. Um, like I walk into the room and a lot of the people that are in my presentations and my workshops are like women because even though it's better when men are in the room for these conversations because it's them committing the violence. There's really women in the room, and it's weird when people start trying to flirt with me while I'm trying to do my job, and it's like that's just weird. I never still don't know how to answer that sometimes. Like I do like once a month I go to this rehab center for women. Sometimes I went there like I ended the presentation like, oh, I might show you like you're very handsome, like you're XYZ, and it's like you should come here more often. You can come here every other day. It was like, and the weird thing is, it's either like it's either one of the two. It's either like midway through the presentation, somebody starts crying because it's dramatic, or somebody trying to flirt with me at the end of it, and it's just like,
Either
yeah,
way, I'm comfortable.
yeah. I mean, I'd rather deal with the tears because I know the significance of it all. It's just like I gotta,
Literally.
not, yeah.
How do you handle those
And also,
situations?
like you're in a rehab center, right? Like this is not the time to be dealing with like more rejection in life. You feel me? Like it's just, uh, like it just doesn't seem like the right place. Like damn, like I mean, I'm not saying this is the right place, you know, but it's just like damn, like I don't, because I feel bad for rejecting somebody in the first place. It's like damn, like why'd you make this weird for everybody? Because now the thing is not like to do like privately, right? Trying to get me, hey, can you talk to the side real quick? Like no, like people are sitting in the room.
Oh my god.
And I'm just like, no, work policy, I can't, and whatever it is. But I appreciate it though. I'm just gonna slowly walk out of here awkwardly. Like, and also I do work with kids too. Sometimes I work with like some high school kids, and God, the high school kids are the worst. I mean, I love high school. Like, I've always wanted to work high school kids since I was like older. I knew like I was going to work in high schools. I'm not doing this particular work. I've always wanted to work in high school because I feel like it's like a very formative year for a lot of people. Years for a lot of people. But nah, that's fucking annoying.
No, I had a friend of mine who did not look his age. He was in his 40s. He looked like he was in his 20s, and he worked in high school. And he would tell me the stories. I'm like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, no.
He, of course, is not entertaining any of it, but he would tell me like all the things that some of those high school girls would say, and I'm like, bro, what is up with these people?
Nah, I think also like I mean I just started really. I've always had a little bit of shit here. I can't really grow a beard. So for a while, when I first started to work, I was like, yeah, 24. I'm like 2 or 3 years out of college. Sometimes people thought I was a student. Like I walk into a classroom and I'm just waiting for like class to start, whatever it is, and like students walking in trying to talk to me, it's like no, I'm not your age. Or weird things have happened where like this, like also this schools in general are just weird. I'd be walking around the hallway and like a faculty on campus would be like, "Hey, get to class, like man, could you see me?" Because I have a badge on, but if you see me from the back, I look just like a tall kid. And I turn around, I'm like, "Oh, I'm not a student." It's like, oh, "Okay, you kind of cute." It's like, "No, you just a second ago you thought I was 17 years old. Don't do that." Yeah, no, it's strange for sure. Yeah, this is not anything sexual about it at all.
Understood. Well, we're definitely at our 5-minute mark. I think that if anybody has any particular questions that they want to ask, they can put it in the question box below, where the question mark should be on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, or just write them in the comments as you have been doing. I know that there have been some conversations happening and what have you, but we've been kind of in the thick of the conversation. So if there are anybody that want to ask any questions, please do. And we're going to wrap it up, but pun intended, I guess.
Oh, actually, like, I'm glad you mentioned that joke. There was this video that was I think I saw somebody's story, and they're saying how, oh, I understand like safe sex and all, but I ain't about to put a condom on, for like head. Like, what's your thoughts on that?
I know how important it is to be protected in almost everything that you're doing. I think, what's the word I'm looking for? Virtually every act that you are doing should have some type of protection. I know you could barely protect someone that you are kissing, but even that I feel like should be protected.
Yeah.
Um, Me personally, I definitely have, with time and maturity, have becoming more diligent in how safe that I am, because I have done some unsafe shit. I just have. And I believe that I should be protected when I am having oral sex, but I seldom are. I mean, I don't do it almost ever, but like I know that it's something I need to be protected with. I think that it's very naive to not just do that in your private life, but literally get on social media and say something about it. Like, why the fuck are you saying anything against being protected? If it's something that you do because it's something that you do, then just do it. But to actually find the time and space to get on your phone to just make a video to tell people that it's something that you don't know if should be done is ridiculous. It's literally like idiotic to me.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where, like, if you're gonna do it privately, then that's your
You do
your thing. But
what you do, but you should be spewing the most safe shit.
yeah,
I feel like that's a no-brainer.
yeah, I think people don't understand the power of social media and the platforms they have.
Mm-hmm. Because someone's gonna see that and be like, okay, cool, so I'm good. No, you're not good.
Yeah,
You are not good.
I think
And then you can get an STI, and then what happens?
yeah, I think it's one of those things where people are looking for validation for things they're already doing. Yeah, and also I just think also just in general we don't how should I put this? We don't make sexual like as comprehensive as it should be. Just even just how we talk about sex and STIs and things like that. I feel like we definitely need more knowledge around that. My organization we don't talk about that particularly, but we just talk about healthy relationships overall.
Yeah.
But I think more schools and more young people should get education on like actual sexual education, what that looks like and what that
Yes,
is. Yeah.
definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, we have a question. Wow, I don't know what this means. Have you ever been stealthed before?
Stealth. No, stealth. Wait, what kind of stealth are you talking about? Because the stealth I know is a crime.
And I don't know what stealth means.
Okay,
So please.
so if it's the same thing we're thinking about, this would be this happens to it can happen to men, but rarely ever happens to men because but what stealth thing how I know it to be is when somebody agrees to sex with a condom and midway through the person takes the condom off without the person's consent. Um, it's considered sexual assault, and the work that I do, the spirit work that I do. But legally, only California you can get charged for it, and that just happened in 2020,
Yeah.
where it made it. But it's a very common thing that happens. It's a very common form of sexual assault, and it's oftentimes a lot of people get away with it because again, it's not in legal terms. People don't know much about it. And two, it's one of those things where the man can say, "Well, she said yes to sex, so I didn't do anything wrong." But it's like if she didn't say yes to this kind of sex, that's why. So I said sex ed with sexual, with consent education is also important. Um,
Yes. So
I've,
that has never happened.
I've never done any stealth thing, but yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for that question, because I'm sure it cleared that information up for a lot of people. I've never been stealth before. Thank God. And I actually have never had any sexual assault instances that I have experienced, which is also a huge thank God for me too. Um, so no, that hasn't happened to me because I haven't had any sexual assaults.
Yeah.
But good question.
Yeah.
Anybody else with a question?
I think doesn't have to go for at least an hour to be able to save it.
I think you can save it no matter what, but I mean, it'll be an hour in 1 minute. Like, it's an hour now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the way I didn't even know that was a crime, I thought it was just something that was expected. Yeah, no, it is a crime. Well, again,
It's not
legally,
recognized as a crime except for in California,
yeah,
but it is a
yeah.
crime,
I mean,
whether
it's
recognized or not.
sure. Yeah, it's assault, sure, but I know for a lot of facts, because a lot of perpetrators will use that fact that it's only legal and it's not illegal yet, then that's why it's not a crime. But
Right.
no, it is definitely assault for sure. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like that. That's why again, social media, as harmful as it can be a very powerful tool. Even if like the law is not seeing it as a crime, no, let people know it's people out here doing that. Talk to them, talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good to know. Is there any other thing before we close out? Something you think that is generally accepted or generally um, perpetrated that's just not really known to be as dangerous as it actually is?
Sexual coercion. Uh, doesn't people think of like coercion? They think of like force, or you have to force somebody, or you have to drug them, or whatever it is. But coercion can also be deceiving, lying, and manipulating. So if you're lying to somebody about something about yourself to get sex, then that's still coercion. Again, one of those things where legally a lot of states won't see it as a crime, but it is still assault. If somebody comes and says that they've been assaulted because somebody like lied to them and somebody manipulated them to doing something they didn't want to do, or they wouldn't have agreed to sex had they known this information and the person, then that's from a coercion as well. Definitely coercion there. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a very very common thing. Again, it's one of those things where like because people think of like assault as only physical, right? You have to
Mm-hmm.
physically hold somebody down, drug somebody, you know, lock them in a room or X Y Z. Like no, if you are deliberately setting somebody up to do something you know they want to do, that is for sure coercion. Um, there's some nuance of the conversation that necessarily can't get into right now because again that'll be like a whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I'll say this too. You, this is the thing I can't get to right now. But like, if you are a person that you know you don't like certain things about a person, and that would make you not want to sleep with them, especially if you are a privileged person and you know that there are things about you that would not make you want to sleep with somebody, whatever it is, right? Make sure you're asking people questions and not blaming them for not giving information that you think you should have known because of your privileged mindset.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's a very generalized way of saying it.
Yeah, you need to ask people things about themselves that would allow you to get the answers that you need in order to live life as healthy and as thoroughly as you need to.
Yeah.
You can't just assume different things on different people or about different people.
Yeah. How old are you both? I'm 28.
I'm 29. I'll be 30 in 1 month.
Oh, nice. I'll be 30 in July.
Sweet.
Yeah.
1993.
94. Yeah. Oh, thank you. This is really interesting. Yeah. Yeah, if there's no more questions, I think we can wrap it up. I need to get ready for bed soon. I got to work in the morning.
Okay, that's why you're just like, nothing after 9 p.m. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, no, no. If it was like a weekend, well, it is a weekend. If it was like not on a
Yeah, if
school
tomorrow
night.
was not Monday.
Yeah, I said school night because like I'm a fucking high schooler. Then yeah, no, yeah, I gotta get ready for bed soon.
Mm-hmm. I got that. Well, is there anything that you are working on right now that people can support you on? Do you have the name of your organization that you would like to share so that people can either donate or, provide resources for, or however they can support either you, your business, or any organization that you are working with currently?
Yeah. I don't have anything working on current. I mean, the only thing I have out, like, link in my bio, I've written like a few books, like two of them books of poems. I know it's like another book of like narratives of things. So the links on my bio for that is accountability, vulnerability, and intentionality. Those are my three books. Like because social media is like very general. I don't like to talk about my organization directly. Because I don't want people from like California to think, oh, I'm gonna like call, because we will try to help people within our respective communities because a lot of shelters and DV centers get full pretty fast. I always tell people like actually look up the the centers in your area. There's a lot of them around the country, and donate. We'll call them and ask them what they want, because a lot of people just think, oh, I'm gonna come and give my old clothes. Like, they don't need old clothes, they might need something else. So call them, ask them what they might want, and if you have it, then you can try to donate to them. But yeah, no, anything about me that people can help and support me on, is the link is in my bio. Yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah.
Sounds good. Amazing writer. Cool. I'll definitely have to check that out as well. For me, there's not anything in the immediate future. I think that if I'm not on vacation, y'all gonna catch me on Sex Talk, and that's just gonna be it. Working a lot. My next move was LA, and I kept on saying, I'm moving to LA, I'm moving to LA, I'm moving to LA, but I'm not moving to LA anymore. When I leave Atlanta, I'll be moving to New York. So that is tentative in terms of dates and timing and all that jazz, but that's definitely going to be the next move for me, and I'm really excited about that. So I'll definitely be showcasing how to support me on that, which is going to be in the future. I think the next big thing coming up is my birthday. I want to have an event in Miami. I want to do like an artist showcase and have me perform for my birthday. So I'm going to have to plan all that and do all these things together, which I'll be posting and putting up once those things are finalized, which is going to be the last weekend of February. But besides that, just social media, staying connected, making sure that you are sharing Sex Talk, watching Sex Talk, listening to Sex Talk on your podcast, and even asking to be featured for me.
Thanks, cool. Thanks for having me. This was really fun.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really glad that we got you on here. Like I said, I admire what you do, and not to be like, hey, you're cute for talking about domestic violence, but really to be like, I really love the fact that I do follow men who have content that I want to consume. And of course, it's just like, my own fulfilling prophecy of like, yeah, things I want to listen to are things that I follow. But there are very few men who really have core content that I think really does push people forward in general, and really supports from a male perspective to other male perspectives that can actually help for the better. So I really appreciate that. I appreciate the work that you do. Of course, it's just work that needs to be done, but just like Sex Talk is, work that needs to be done, but still it's something of a rarity in the work, and for that, people are appreciative. So
Yeah, for sure.
give them.
Yeah.
So with that, we'll come to a close. Thank you for being on the air. It was a pleasure.
All right.
Good night and have a wonderful Monday morning.
You as well. Thank you.
All right. Peace.